Wake up. Wake up. Now, this is not the day after a Niner game. This is the day of a Niner game. The Niners play on Monday Night Football against the Panthers. But wake up. Let's go. We're going to have a little pregame, little Aiyuk talk, little Niner Panther talk. Wake up.
Right now. It is good to be back, Larry. I mean, come on, man. I'm a man of routine. I like us going Mondays and Fridays. We miss Fridays because I was on the road. Good to see you again, brother. Thanks to everyone for being back here. It's great to have you all back here on Wake Up, and we got an awful lot to talk about. The price of poker for tonight's game. Well, it's been high stakes for the 49ers at all times. Who would have ever thought Carolina would be this deep into a poker hand at this point in the season? They're usually not. And if motivation matters, the Carolina Panthers have an extreme amount of motivation, a chance to be in first place in their own division with a win on Monday Night Football. So this should be a fist fight tonight. This should be really interesting. It is great to be back. And hello, everyone. Welcome. Larry, let's take care of our business before we get down to business. I know you got a big event coming up soon at Pig and a Pickle, man. Tell everyone about it.
December 7th, we'll be in Corte Madera at Pig and a Pickle. The best barbecue in Northern California is Pig and a Pickle. They've got 2 locations right now and a third on the way. They're in Corte Madera. They're in Emeryville. They got a third location opening in Petaluma. And we'll tell you more about that as the details come out. But we'll be out there December 7th in Corte Madera during the bye week for the Krug Show meet and greet. And we've got a Ricky Pearsall autographed Niner mini helmet to give away. We've got some other Krug Show gear to give away. But it's just going to be an open house. We're just going to be hanging out, having some barbecue, watching some bye week football. It's a great mall as well. Bring your wife. If she wants to go Christmas shopping while you hang out and talk some ball. We're just going to be hanging out. So last time we had 40 or 50 Krug Show fans. Some came from very, very far distances, which always is floors me. But we're doing it again. And Damon and Mary are fired up. They're going to have all the brisket and barbecue ready to cook for anybody who wants to order some for themselves, of course, to go home. And we'll just be hanging out, just an open house watching ball. So check us out December 7th at Pig and a Pickle. We're also brought to you by Sleeper, the fastest growing fantasy platform in the world. One-stop shop. You get blazing fast news, real-time stats, group chat, season-long leagues, and of course, Sleeper picks for daily fantasy. Use promo code Larry, and Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Links in the description. Terms and conditions do apply. Also, thanks to Anthony Catania from Sharp Corners Sports Cards and Collectibles. They're at 205 Cypress Avenue in Pacific Grove. Call Anthony at 831-521-5264, and he's paying your shipping if you're a Krug Show fan now between now and the end of the year. So thanks to our sponsors for being sponsors. We'll tell you more about habits when we're towards the tail end of the show, but thanks to our sponsors for sponsoring the Krug Show and gives us the ability to do this full time. So we appreciate every single one of you.
Look at this Mill ticket already checking in, Larry. He's like a flight early. He's like, I want you to reserve a seat for me. I want an aisle. I want a window. He's coming. That's fantastic. Gotta love that. Thank you so much to Ike's, a delicious sandwich. One of his most famous sandwiches is the Thanksgiving leftover sandwich. Well, you're probably not going to order that this week because you're about to have that yourself later this week. But the amount of sandwiches that you got at Ike's go to basically infinity. Get there. Hopefully there's one near you. And there is only one Dubliner, West Portal. That's for sure. Love Kenny and John. Great guys. Great place to watch Warriors games, Niners games, Sharks hockey, Macklin Celebrini. Wave of enthusiasm running over the Bay Area. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Monday Night Football. And look, 49ers, it feels like they have to prove themselves each and every week over and over again. And, drama always seems to poke its head up around Brandon Aiyuk every few months. And obviously this last handful of days has been full of Brandon Aiyuk conversation and drama and speculation. Circling the wagons and focusing on Monday Night Football is what this team has needed to do all week, and I hope that they've done it, because if you take your eye off this Panthers ball, it might roll over you a little bit. They've got a very good offensive line. They've got a quarterback who's coming into his own. Rico Dowdell is the kind of like guy who could have a big week that wins your fantasy game for you, or just sort of wears beige and blends into a game. Teteroa McMillan, Larry, one of your favorites, is having a monster rookie year. And Bryce Young really is coming into himself. They've got an average run defense. They've got an average pass defense. Points are available tonight. This thing, I think this could be a little bit of a fist fight. And I like the Niners to win it. They need to win it. They're keeping pace in football's most competitive division for sure. The Rams look like world beaters. The Seahawks ain't bad, that's for sure. So this is a huge, huge game tonight, and no one had this circled as huge game when the schedule came out, Larry.
Well, it is going to be it's going to be a big game. Big game on a lot of fronts. Just looking at some of the, in the matchup here, expect a lot of CMC. He's 37% of the 49ers offense. You got a Carolina linebacking crew that's decimated by injuries. And I would say you're going to see a lot of CMC. Expect Kyle to use.
When shouldn't I expect that? Where's the game where he's not like front and center? You need to touch the ball 40 times tonight, CMC. He is the offense.
Well, I mean, he can be, but in this game, it sets up really the matchup sets up well. Niners are 29th in the NFL in yards per game rushing. As I said, he's 37% of the Niners offense. But tonight he might be a bigger percentage. I expect Kyle to use a lot of misdirection and counter plays against Carolina's backup linebackers as he tortures their backups. They don't have good backup linebackers. I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, they just don't. And Shanahan does a great job with the play action boots and the screens. The Niners use 21 personnel, and they force defenses to play in their base defense. And that's not what the Panthers like to do. So Niners have the new number 2 ranked passing attack. To me, the big advantage for the 49ers in the game is third downs. Niners offensively convert nearly 50% on third down. One of the best conversion rates in the entire league. Carolina on the defensive side of the ball is giving up 44% conversion rate on third downs. That's not one of the better percentages in the league. So I think third down is going to favor the Niners. What's going to be interesting is Brock Purdy plays way better against man-to-man coverage. And Carolina plays 84% zone, far and away the most in the NFL. And Brock struggles sometimes against zones. He's thrown 4 interceptions against zone coverages. So the other interesting angle is Carolina plays 20% dime. So they go with 6 DBs, and they use the former Raider Trevon Moehrig at linebacker because they've got so many injuries at linebacker. So I think what you're going to see is Kyle Shanahan is going to expose Carolina's linebackers and their makeshift linebackers by making them play in the base defense and then picking on their inexperienced linebackers. And then he's going to make them play coverage, Damon, against CMC, who's got over 70 catches in, CMC in play action is just absolutely money. We've seen Kyle use CMC, lined him up at wide receiver. He'll do that tonight. CMC's running a ton of these little choice routes from the offset position. He's going to do more of that tonight. Everything that you've seen, I think they're going to throw the kitchen sink at Carolina's defense because they are so inexperienced at linebackers. So get ready for it. Snag routes, quick screens, under routes.
Well, that's what the Niners are best at. The Niners can't.
They're going to put Christian in the slot. They're going to use him on quick outs. What they love to do right now, Damon, is the Niners love to bring Christian through the line of scrimmage and then run a check through, and then he runs like a short option route. But we see him on little comeback routes. Christian McCaffrey has the most incredibly varied route tree, and he's going to come right at them tonight in every way imaginable. And Carolina's a poor tackling team. They're top 7 in the league in missed tackles. So expect a lot of CMC. Always expect a lot of CMC, as Damon said, but expect even more CMC tonight against Carolina because of the matchup.
Well, and also there's some motivation there, right? This is his first game against Carolina since being traded. So this is going to mean something to him. And Christian McCaffrey, this is a really unique situation for him, Larry. I was thinking about this. And look, it's a lot harder to crack the 49ers top 5 of anything. You know, the 49ers have been playing for 79 seasons. They've got 30 busts in Canton, Ohio. The Panthers, this is their 30th season. So the 49ers have as many Hall of Famers as the Carolina Panthers have had seasons in the NFL. This is McCaffrey's first game, though, against the team that drafted him. And honestly, top 5 Panthers of all time. Top 5 Panthers of all time, Luke Kuechly, Steve Smith, Julius Peppers, Cam Newton, Christian McCaffrey. That's the list. Like Greg Olsen.
No Jake Delhomme. They went to the Super Bowl with Jake Delhomme.
No, Jake Delhomme. Cam Newton is going to start over Jake Delhomme.
Cam Newton is authored their darkest moment. He fumbled and opted not to fall on it.
But he was in a Super Bowl and won an MVP, Larry.
Yeah, but Jake Delhomme went to a Super Bowl too, and they both lost.
Right. So Cam Newton.
One guy lost in shame, and the other guy lost to Tom Brady.
Well, either way, every Panther fan that ever watched the Panthers would tell you that Cam Newton is higher on the hierarchy of all-time quarterbacks than
well,
Delhomme
no, but I'm
was.
saying Jake Delhomme's got to be on the top 5. He's quarterback to a team that went to the Super Bowl. Who do you have on this list?
Kuechly, Steve Smith, Julius Peppers, Cam Newton, Christian McCaffrey. There's your top 5. The guy who I think is on the outside looking in is Greg Olsen, and I wouldn't take anyone's name off the list to put Olsen's name on it. I'm not taking anyone's name off that list to put,
they had some pretty good players early on too that you're leaving off, like Amari Lathan and Kevin Green and those guys. I mean, they were good. They were good.
Kevin Green was a very good Niner too for a minute there. Anyways, so now this is where it might get a little controversial to me. If I were putting the Niners all-time offense out on the field, right? Like I said, Christian McCaffrey isn't a top 5 Niner of all time, but I do think he is their all-time starting running back. You're fielding the all-time 49er team. I would have McCaffrey out there, with all due respect,
over Frank Gore and
Frank Gore and Joe the Jet Perry memories that your grandfather has. I'm going to go with CMC. You want to go with the other guy? You're going to get Frank Gore. That's a pretty good option too. But I would go with CMC. He's just more dynamic. The guy's a weapon. So we have here like a top 5 all-time Panther playing against his team. I think he's quickly established himself as one of the great Niners of all time. How many times do you get one dude who is literally on the 2 teams all-time starting depth chart? So kind of an interesting.
Yeah, I don't think there's any bad. I don't know if he's going to go off or anything, because I don't think he has that vibe. I mean, if they had banished him, but they didn't. They sent him to a better place where he's had a greater height to his career. So I don't get any vibe of like, man, I'm trying to get back at the Panthers.
Right. No, but there's got to be an element of, I was injured. I was oft injured. They gave up on me. There's no way that doesn't chirp somewhere in his mind, right? That's got to be somewhere. So I think this is a huge Christian McCaffrey game for sure. It's a unique situation for him. But if the Niners are really going to pull away, and like this one is this felt like that was a good win for the Niners. Purdy looked awesome. It's got to be somebody other than McCaffrey and Kittle. Can a third player come along for the ride?
Well, how about somebody on defense? I mean, let's talk about the defense.
Can it be someone on the defense stepping up? Exactly.
Yeah, it can't just be. We know the Niner offense is likely to play pretty well. But the question is, can the Niner offense play so well that it covers how bad this 49er defense is? And I'm really eager to see what Carolina, looks like. I mean, the Niners have no pass rush, and Bryce Huff is their best pass rusher. He's got 4 sacks. He's got 36 pressures. It leads the team. But if you look closely, he only has 6 sacks in his last 21 NFL games. So it's not like he's just an absolute dominator. He's solid, and that's what he was hired to be. Now there's no Nick Bosa. Now, what do we see from the 49er defense in this game? I think that's going to be the real interesting question. I mean, Dave Canales I think is going to go up tempo and use more. He uses a lot of empty sets, and he's going to do that to stress out the Niner linebackers and the young DBs, to test the Niners communication. Niners play a ton of cover 4, which is, 4 deep on the backside, 3 underneath with a 4-man rush. And last week against Arizona, Damon, the Niners played 24% on the year cover 4. But last week against Arizona, they played 50% cover 4. 4 deep, 3 underneath, 4-man rush. 2 weeks ago, Robert Saleh, and this is what's one of the big questions of the day. 2 weeks ago, Robert Saleh blitzed Matthew Stafford and the Rams 55% of the time. He came back last week against Arizona and blitzed 12% of the time. Didn't blitz at all. So Niners are also playing nickel 80% of the time with the 5 DBs. So, and the Panthers have some injuries up front. Their center, Cade Mays, is out. Austin Corbett's going to start at center. A guy named Charles Zavala will be starting for them at right guard. He's their fourth different, or his fourth, I should say, at left guard. He's their fourth different left guard.
You seem heavily invested in its offensive line, too. They're,
But, I mean, the Niners, how this Niner defense is a major question mark. I mean, D. Winters played well last week, but he gives up some big plays. And last week against Brissett, 57 dropbacks, and he completed 47 of 57. No sacks and only 4 hits on the quarterback all day. So, Jacoby Brissett, Arizona shot themselves in the foot. Bryce Young right now is the reigning NFC Offensive Player of the Week. So he's coming off his best performance. He's feeling good. McMillan's feeling good. I would imagine we're going to see their big receivers, McMillan and Leggett, go up against the Niners, Upton Stout. Leggett last year had a bunch of drops, Damon, 8 drops. This year he's got none. So I think that's going to be a big matchup. Can the Niners secondary, the young guys, Stout, Demo, Renardo, stand up to these big, receivers, especially if there's no pass rush up front?
Well, and Teteroa McMillan leads them in receptions. I think yards. He's having a monster rookie year. And, I saw earlier in the chat, I said, look out for Bryce Young. And people are like, Bryce Young sucks. Well, Bryce Young used to suck. But this is this is development. This is what normal development looks like. So you're not Patrick Mahomes. You weren't the top 5 quarterbacks the very first time you went under center in the league. Normally it takes a little time to develop, especially when you're surrounded by a team that's questionable in a lot of places. And right now, Bryce Young, like you said, Larry, he's coming off the best game of his career. 448 passing yards. That's a Panthers single game franchise record performance that he had. He did it on a season high, 69% completion percentage. So he's playing really well. He's got mojo with his receivers. And in that game, it's not like it was just all smooth breezing because he was playing the Falcons. The only thing the Falcons are good at is playing well against the pass. And he was sacked 5 times and still put up some really big numbers. And again, you just saw what Jacoby Brissett and a group of nobodies did to the 49ers defense. So that's getting any kind of pressure on him. It just, it's amazing what defense can do to change the outcome of a football game. And if the 49ers got any defense to throw it at the young quarterback tonight, because if you give him time, I just watched, again, Jacoby Brissett do a Matthew Stafford impersonation against the 49ers last week. So,
first of all, people who say he sucks are wrong. Okay, he doesn't.
He's
suck.
young. He started 40 games, Larry. Tonight is his 41st career start.
Yeah, he's a young guy. If you watch the Atlanta game last week, he shredded Atlanta. They had 9 pass plays of 20-plus yards. He's 6-4 as a starting quarterback this year. They've won their last 3 games on the road. You think he's bad? They were really bad when they put in Andy Dalton. This guy can throw the deep ball with accuracy. He's tough as hell. He moves well in the pocket. They had been 0-12 when he had thrown 35 or more passes until last week against Atlanta, where he had his best game. But he leads the NFL in game-winning drives. He's really clutch in the fourth quarter. So the key is don't let him hang around, because if you do, man, he will beat you in the fourth quarter.
By the way, I did not. He leads the NFL in game-winning drives this year.
He leads the NFL in game-winning drives.
Jesus, so I didn't have that one pop out in my pregame getting ready for today's show. That's
you know what they're going to do in this game. Carolina uses empty set more than any team in the league, and that means no running backs. All 5 eligibles out. Expect to see that. Expect to see Carolina spread out the 49ers' 25th ranked defense, 28th rated pass defense with a ton of empties. And maybe play with some tempo. The Niners are dead last in the NFL with 12 sacks. They're decimated at linebacker with injuries, and they've been busting coverages all year long. I mean, I'm going to be interested to see if Robert Saleh dumbs it down and plays some simple, basic coverages and has some basic blitz packages just to avoid the coverage bust, just to avoid the busted plays. I mean, the Niners have had, I can think of almost every game I can think of this year. I can think of busted plays that they've allowed. Even in games they've won, they had busted plays in the Saints game. They had busted plays in the Houston game. They had busted plays in the Arizona game. I mean, it's like, how many busted plays are we going to watch before they go simple coverages? So opposing quarterbacks against the Niner defense, these are the numbers. They're averaging a QBR of 104.5. They're averaging 70% completion percentage. They're averaging 250 yards passing against the Niners, and they're averaging 21 touchdowns, or not averaging. They've produced 21 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. So the 49er defense has been a sieve. And
by the way, J.C. Horn, I think he's one of the better cornerbacks in football. He's got as many interceptions as the Niners defense does. He's got 3.
Yeah.
They've got 3. So look out for J.C. Horn.
Yeah, he's a good player. And then you got Chow Smith-Wade, the nickel back, who's really good. But Bryce Young is small. I mean, the key for the Niners defense is going to be, he's 5'10", he's 204 pounds. Keep him in the pocket, all right? That's number one. And then squeeze that pocket. He's had 7 balls batted down against him thus far this year.
Hands up, Alfred Collins. Hands up.
Bat some balls down against Bryce Young. But the reality is, since Fred Warner went down, the 49er defense has given up 400 yards or more in 3 of the last 4 games. So they've absolutely fallen apart defensively without Fred and without Bosa. Some people say, well, it's about Bosa. Okay, maybe that's fine. You want to track it back to Bosa, track it back to Bosa. But as far as the busted plays, that was since Fred.
It's
since
about
Fred,
everything.
they've given up tons of busts. And the Niners are 25th in total D and 28th in pass D and 32nd in sacks. So
we're always looking to pin it on somebody. We're always looking to pin it on the crime has been committed. Who can we pin it on? Who can we arrest? Who is the guilty party here? It all fits together. And when it doesn't start fitting together, shit starts coming apart. And that's what the 49ers have been dealing with all season long on both sides of the football. They are getting a little healthier now offensively with Brock back in the mix. Hey, man, 30 points a game is what it pretty much needs to be. You got a 30-point-a-game responsibility on this offense because you can't just expect a good day from your defense anymore. If you get one, fantastic. An expectation of one, I think, is fool's gold for the Niners. And, getting back to Christian McCaffrey, I got accused of saying, Damon, why'd you do a Christian McCaffrey video last week? A big show about how important he is. Because he's the single most important player on the franchise right now. There is no close second. That's how important Christian McCaffrey is. And he directly correlates with their victories. His underperformance directly correlates with their losses. He leads the NFL in touches and scrimmage yards entering week 12, but his 4 of his 5 lowest rushing performances, all under 55 yards, coincide with 4 losses that the 49ers have. So you shut down Christian McCaffrey, your chances of beating the 49ers, because that's a serious force multiplier. Like, you're going to beat the 49ers, you shut down McCaffrey. So he's got to go off. It's got to be someone else other than Kittle. Like, it can't be, here's the thing. It's rare where a player returns and disappears in the same week. Ricky Pearsall, have a game tonight. I mean, especially as you start looking at what a post-Brandon Aiyuk existence looks like for the 49ers. Ricky Pearsall, it's time to get on the horse and ride, man. It is time. This team needs you. Any other young receiver, nameless, faceless, unloved, Kyle hates you, young receiver on this football team. I don't care what draft class you're. If you're a young receiver on this team, opportunity is in front of you. Go make a play and then try to make another one. And then next thing you know, you're a starting wide receiver for the 49ers, for God's sakes. Maybe it's an old man, Kendrick Bourne. Get back on the train, man. He had one really big game this year. Kind of hasn't been seen since. Juwan Jennings. Dude, you've gone from everybody loved you to nobody liked you to now fewer people trust you than ever before to just kind of had a good game and you fumbled all the, like Juwan Jennings. Pick a side of the road and start walking down it. This team needs somebody to help. Christian McCaffrey and Brock Purdy move the football. Hopefully they find that guy. Let it be Jake Tungus. I don't care. Somebody else needs to do something, Larry.
Well, I mean, Pearsall. I mean, let's talk about Pearsall for a second.
Okay.
The guy missed 6 weeks with the knee injury. He suffered in week 4 against Jacksonville. He finally got back against Arizona last week. He only got 2 targets. He only got 1 reception. He got 0 yards. So, Carolina is down 2 starting linebackers this week. The intermediate area is going to be wide open. The intermediate area is where Pearsall excelled earlier this year. It's now or never for Ricky. I mean, it's now or never. It's time for him to produce. You were a first-round draft choice. Produce like it. But I would say what you're really going to see in this game is you're going to see the Niners use, pre-snap motion a ton. They use it at a 41% clip, 4th highest rate in the NFL. But if you look at the numbers, the Panthers are allowing the 5th most yards per play and the 2nd most yards per game, 141 yards a game when opponents use motion pre-snap. So you expect to see a lot of pre-snap motion, especially with them down to their backup linebackers. And then watch for CMC's receiving yards. I bet you he has 100 yards receiving tonight. The Panthers allow targets to the running back position 21% of the time. It's the 3rd most of all defenses in the NFL. And now here comes the ultimate receiving running back. And I just think that you're going to see the Niners run it because I don't think they can stop the 49er run game. But I think where you're going to see big chunk yardage plays is I think CMC is going to have somewhere between 80 and 120 receiving yards tonight. That'll be my guess. I think that's the game plan. Throw it to CMC all day against these backup linebackers. I mean, I'd have to bust out the depth chart, but it's the names of these guys these guys they're not only not household names. These are borderline NFL players.
The who's who of linebacker. You're not a Nick Scrouton fan or Trayvon Wallace or Christian.
No, he's out.
Okay, no.
Trevin Wallace is out.
Okay,
and Rosaboom's out. So those are the guys that are out.
He's their leading tackler.
Yeah, those guys are out. It's so I get ready for what the heck's the guy's name?
Mamea Nanjakamanmeta.
Him from Maryland.
Yeah.
But the other guy too.
Travis Gibson.
Travis Gibson. Well, Travis Gibson's more of a defensive end. I guess he plays outside linebacker in their scheme. No, I was going to say Claudin Cherylus. Claudin Cherylus is the linebacker who's been playing a ton, and he's really raw. He's really inexperienced. The big issue is Derek Brown up front. He dominated against the Jets. He had 3 sacks. He batted down 3 balls. He's probably going to play against maybe some Barch, maybe some Burford. I have a little bit of a fear of Derek Brown destroying Burford. But I think this is a huge game for the 49ers as far as to possess the football. Put the Claudin Cheryluses in the blender. J.C. Horn and Mike Jackson, their corners, have been targeted 59 times. They're really poor tacklers. Carolina's got a 13% missed tackle rate. And then I think the key matchup is Juwan Jennings in the slot against Chow Smith-Wade. And Ricky's got to do something. He played 40 snaps last week. He had 1 catch. So, the other thing to watch for is Trevon Moehrig. They play a lot of dime. They're playing dime 25% of the snaps. And this guy's a safety who plays linebacker, and they blitz him. He's got 9 TFLs. So Trevon Moehrig in the sub package could be a key factor in this thing tonight too.
Looking for conflict defenders, right? That's what Shanahan does probably better than anybody else. And you said there's a bunch of them to pick on tonight. Hopefully they do it. And I want the Niners, Larry, to stay aggressive on 4th down, especially in the middle of the field. Like 4th and 3, and now thinking about like a 52, 55-yard field goal. There's nothing to think about. That is not Matt Gay's range. Matt Gay is a little bit of a sliding X factor in this one. And I actually think it could benefit the Niners a little bit. Instead of settling for, hey, Eddie Piñeiro's got this. Without Piñeiro out there, Matt Gay is pretty good from 40 and in. You put him beyond 50, and that's how the Washington Commanders cut him. So I think they got to stay really aggressive on 4th and short, 4th and manageable. I think they got to go for it in this game. And I think that when you need an offense to put up points like a pinball machine, that's the right thing to do. And I want to see it tonight. I think they got to stay aggressive on 4th down. You don't ask Matt Gay to kick anything from outside of 50 yards tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he struggles. I mean, it was kind of weird. I mean, they brought in a bunch of kickers. They went with a guy who's having his worst year. I mean, Matt Gay's made 13 field goals. He's missed 6. So I don't know what they're thinking. Maybe they like the playoff experience. I mean, Brant Boyer. I mean, it seems like a lot of their stuff is like, hey, we liked this guy years ago. They had him, he kicked in the division for the Rams in the dome against them and kicked well. So, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, you may want to, if this forces Kyle to go for it a couple more 4th downs, then he would be more in line with the kind of the younger analytics-based crowd that says go for it more on 4th down. I mean, to me, the big factor here is going to be turnovers. Niners are -5 in turnover margin. I mean, that's 25th in the NFL. They're one of the worst turnover teams in football. Carolina's not good either, but the Niners are worse. And yes, does Carolina have a distinct weakness at linebacker? Yeah. And do the Niners have a major edge on 3rd downs? Yeah. But still, if you turn the ball over, I mean, the one thing about Carolina that makes me a little concerned with this matchup is that Carolina plays a lot of 2-shell, right? They play a lot of 2 deep safeties. And they take
when
away
you're
the
in
middle.
dime most of the time, that's going to happen.
Well, they take away the middle of the field, and they kind of make you operate underneath. And Purdy is an aggressive guy who likes to drive it down the field. And can he show the patience in this game to take what the defense gives you? Because I know Brock Purdy, for his own purposes, likes to be aggressive. That's who he is. But now the 49er offense has to shoulder more than just the load for themselves. They need to shoulder the load for the 49er defense, which can't really do it on their own. So Brock's going to have to fight that tendency to be, we're going to be super aggressive. You want to take some chances, but don't take a lot of chances with the football. Take what the defense gives you. Keep your offense on the field. 10-plus play drives are the friend of your defense. Never forget that your job is to not just score points, but to score points and protect your defense, because their defense is now in a spot. Their defense used to protect the offense. Hey, we can do anything we want because they're going to cover us, because they're going to stop these guys over and over and over again. That's the way it used to be. Well, it's not that way now. Now all your money's on offense. All your big-time players and stars are on offense, and your defense is banged up at linebacker, young in the secondary, and not getting much rush up front. So it has to be protected. So they got to prioritize, 1st downs over going down the field. And if Carolina wants to play the 2-shell coverage and be very conservative and make you operate underneath, then operate underneath. And don't fight it and turn the ball over.
Right.
Stay on the field. Stay on the field. Keep winning. 1st downs all night long. If the Niners can possess the ball for 40 minutes plus, they're going to dominate. But if Carolina likes to do that. And if Carolina, with Chuba Hubbard and Dowdle, Dowdle was signed to be the backup for Chuba Hubbard. Instead, he's top 5 in yards per scrimmage, but he is wearing out, and he's averaged only 2.5 yards a carry the last 2 weeks. So if you can somehow force them to get off the field and you can dominate the time of possession, I think the team that wins that battle, especially if they can possess the ball for over 35 minutes, is going to win the game.
Handle business. The 49ers are the better team, even with an ascending Carolina franchise. Again, it's the motivation that I think is a little bit of an X factor tonight. I think, look, every guy's playing for his career. I saw a really good interview with Rico Dowdell saying, hey man, I got a 1-year deal. Every single game for me is an audition for where I'm going to go next year, what I'm going to be doing next year. Every game's an audition. I got to prove myself with every carry. This is a Panthers team that probably had no postseason expectations at all. They're 60 minutes away from sole possession in their division. Now, that's their improvement. It's also a big backslide. Tampa has lost 3 in a row now. It looked like they might run away and hide in the NFC South. That's not happening now. So with Baker Mayfield, he's getting something MRI'd today, I think, Larry. He got hurt yesterday. So there is a huge opportunity here for Carolina. And when a team is a little young, a little dumb, motivation matters. I mean, I don't think a lot of professional games are decided by a motivation factor because everyone's good and motivated. This is $1 billion industry, but there's a little something in the air for the Panthers that they haven't sniffed in years. They got the second longest playoff drought in the NFL, and Dave Canales wants this. So this is a fist fight tonight. It might turn into a rock fight. I don't know if it's going to be ugly. I don't know if it's going to be pretty, but I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people think. Niners, what is it, 6.5, Larry? Did that move at all?
I didn't see. It was 7 last time I looked. But, you mentioned Tampa. Tampa was playing amazing, for several weeks. But eventually, if you lose enough players, it starts to catch up with you. I mean, I'm just looking at their IR list. Jalen McMillan, Cody Mauch, Kalijah Cansey, David Walker, Mike Evans, Josh Williams. I mean, the Jason Jones. They got a bunch of guys on their IR. So it's like after a while, and now you got the quarterback down. You're trying to win with Teddy Bridgewater, and it's just, it's a war of attrition. So, and all I would say to every team in the NFL, it's like, whether you never know. I mean, just keep going because you never know. I mean, 1 year Green Bay won a Super Bowl with 22 guys on season-ending IR. Aiden Hutchinson, is going for Detroit, but Detroit's banged up, and they just, Detroit's lost some guys. Tucker Kraft, Green Bay lost Tucker Kraft. Buffalo lost Ed Oliver. The Niners have lost Bosa and Warner. I mean, you're going to lose guys over the course of the year, and it's, who's deeper, who continues to grow together. Some teams grow apart. There's 2 ways to win, right? You can score 1 point more than your opponent, or you can shut somebody out, and it's like, you don't have to pitch a shutout if you can score 40 points. Well, you don't have to score 40 points if you can pitch a shutout. There's a lot of different ways to win. So it's the way you play the day you play, and keep going. So, I know that was my only disappointment with the 49ers is that they first of all, we can talk about all the drama with Aiyuk at some point, but
we'll get there.
Just the whole, we're not going to do anything to improve ourselves at the trade deadline when you desperately needed help, and now you've got very little rush at all. I was watching some coach was doing a breakdown of the Niners, and we're like, when are they going to dip into the free agent market for more help up front? I mean, it's like they're really, really, really depleted, and they're barely getting by. I mean, Keon White, who they just acquired a couple of weeks ago, is like one of their key cogs on their front line now, and he wasn't even on the team 3 weeks ago. So it's like they're really, really, really thin. And they're going to have to probably make some addition, either a street free agent, poach somebody off a practice squad, because they're running out of dudes for sure.
Who is that guy? You're a practice squad dork of the first degree, Larry. You live for this shit. So
what's what guy? Who can they get? I mean,
one guy you'd be comfortable poaching off somebody's practice squad, and then what? Telling Robert Beal Jr. goodbye? I mean, because you got
he's hurt.
You got to dress. No, I'm saying, but somebody goes. If somebody comes, somebody goes.
Yeah, Mohamed Kamara would be the guy that I would go after. He's on Tampa's practice squad. He played at Colorado State. He was a draft pick of the Dolphins. He's only 26. He was a 5th-round pick in the 24 draft. He's a little on the shorter side, 6'1", but he's 6'1". He's like Bryce Huff. He's like almost the exact same dimensions as Bryce Huff. 6'1", 255, great motor, not an awesome edge setter because he's 250, but man, he'll peel back his ears and hunt the quarterback, and he's really quick. So yeah, I would try to find somebody who I felt like could give me a little speed, because I think if you could throw some speed opposite Bryce Huff, that's probably the best route to go, even if you get washed out in the run game, just because the passing game is such a big part of the NFL, and you got to have some pass rush.
Great to have everybody here. It's good to have you. It's game day. It's not a victory Monday. Hopefully it'll be a victory Tuesday for the 49ers, and Larry and I will be back at it on Tuesday morning during Wake Up. Now, Larry, what time do you want to go tomorrow? Because I know you're going to be late at the stadium tonight. If you want to start at 10 tomorrow, listen to this. So kids.
Tomorrow's going to be a non-starter for me. I just realized that tomorrow I have unless I can cancel it, I have a dentist appointment tomorrow at 8 a.m. So I'm going to try to cancel it. As soon as this stream is over, I'm going to call the dentist and say, you know what, it's not going to work.
There we go. You got to do it. We can't not do a wake up, right?
I know. But I think I'm inside my 24-hour window. But I gotta push it back because I mean, not only that, I'm filling in tomorrow on CanBR for Copeland. And I'm not going to get home till 1 o'clock in the morning. And my appointment was at 8 o'clock in the morning. How
about this, Larry? Why don't
I can't? I'm going to be dead.
How about this? Why don't we start tomorrow's wake up at 10 a.m.? Does that work? You can go to the dentist.
No. I can't do both. It's going to be one or the other, I think. Well, Actually, that could work. Let me just check, but we will try. I will effort. I mean, see, once again, I mean, it's going to be rough. It's going to be a rough turnaround, but we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully we'll have this tomorrow.
Routine cleaning. Are we having any root canals? Is this a big dentist situation, Larry? Do you want to share
No,
your
it's a routine. It's a routine checkup.
Thank God. I worry about you, Larry, during the season. I worry about you. Like and subscribe. If you're worried about Larry, please like and subscribe to both of our channels. It is great to have you here for a wake up. And this is a big one, obviously, for the 49ers. So one of the things that's changed since when I was in school, Larry, did you get a week off for Thanksgiving? I never did. Like you got Thursday and Friday off when I was a kid. Jack is off all this week.
We got a half day Wednesday.
Okay.
Half day Wednesday, and then you got Thursday and Friday off, and then coming back, it was finals before the Christmas break. So, yeah, Thanksgiving now it's like, I mean, my kids are off for the whole week. My wife's off for the whole week.
Yeah.
By the way, I went to Lenardi's yesterday to pick up some food for the big week and all that stuff, and barbecuing yesterday a little bit. So I went there and I was talking to the butcher. I'm like, dude, what's the biggest turkey you've seen back here this year? And dude, first of all, the biggest turkey I think we ever ordered when my mom was having lots and lots of people over. We one time had a 23-pound bird.
I was about to say the 20-pounder, I think, is the Bruce family table record, and that was set in like 1989.
Okay, but you know what the biggest turkey that Lenardi's butcher said they had this year?
I'm
38 pounds.
Oh, dude, the turkey.
Now, 38-pound turkey.
And that turkey played defensive end. Okay.
I mean, first of all, they inject these things, give them bigger boobs, right? The big boob factor. I mean, it really, you think it's big among people, it's huge among turkeys. I mean, they inject these turkeys to have bigger breasts so that there's more breast meat. I'm not even joking. Got into a conversation with the guy. I ordered my turkey. It's a Distel turkey from their farms. I think the farm is in Sonora, where the turkeys get raised.
That's a freaking ostrich, Larry.
38 pounds, man. 38-pound turkey.
How much stuffing do you need to fill the cavity of a 38-pound turkey? What do you need, like a 50-gallon drum of stuffing to put in that turkey? That's
not only that. what kind of oven has room for a 38-pound turkey? I mean, you're gonna have to go bottom shelf, take all the shelves out. You're gonna have to just put just the bottom shelf in. And even then, 38 pounds, the profile on that thing. And then also, I'll say this: my brother-in-law a couple years ago, probably a number of years ago now, probably 5 or 6 years ago, did a deep fried turkey, and I thought it was going to be oily. It was absolutely amazing because the
Very good.
cavity. Now you can't do stuffing, obviously, but the cavity, the oil cooks inside the cavity, so it's not like how turkey meat on the top is like dry, but inside it can be kind of almost raw or wet or kind of pink. If you deep fry a turkey, it cooks as evenly on the bone as it does on the outside. Everything cooks exactly at the same. So anyway, I thought it was gonna be oily. No, it was amazing. It
No,
was an
deep fried
amazing thing. I
turkey is
wouldn't.
legit.
You gotta
Smoked
make
turkey.
sure it's defrosted. And if you've never done it before, don't do it. Let somebody else do it.
So there was a summer in Fort Wayne, Indiana, where like 10 different houses burnt down, or I guess it wasn't the summer, but people were deep frying turkeys and they would do it on their wooden back porch. They would put the turkey in, the oil would overflow. They would have a porch fire, and like houses were burning down frequently in Indiana because of deep fried turkeys. So if you do it, put the deep fryer in the yard, not on the freaking patio.
My brother-in-law did it on his wooden patio. You're right. But I will say this, and that was probably risky, but I will say this: when you dip it in the oil, it's a slow dip.
Yes, very slow, very slow.
Very slow.
And you're right, not frozen, because that makes the oil go bonkers.
Well, then, yeah, you can't. You put it in frozen, it's going to explode. You're gonna have scarring. Don't do that. But if you put it in oil, just make sure if you're doing the deep fried turkey, that's great. Make sure it's defrosted, no stuffing. And drop that thing in like an inch every 30 seconds.
Yes.
Yeah. Slow entry. Slow entry.
Slow entry. Anyways,
don't drop it. No, it's not a chips and dip. It's a slow.
So I want to thank my wife's side of the family for having their Southern California Thanksgiving before Thanksgiving weekend. That's what I just would. I already have had Thanksgiving, proper turkey, all the fixins dinner. We did that on Saturday. So I'm all turned around, by the way. Like Saturday, I'm in the shower. I'm like, oh, it's Thanksgiving.
I've already had Thanksgiving.
I've already had Thanksgiving. Now we're doing a very simple.
What is your favorite side dish? What is your favorite side dish?
To me, stuffing. Thanksgiving is literally a.
What do you want in your stuffing?
Sausage.
Okay.
And herb.
See, I went to a house a few years ago where somebody put walnuts in there. To get the walnuts out of there.
No walnuts.
Take your walnuts and get the hell out. Yeah, I don't want any. But here's this is what I put in my stuffing: sage, onions, celery, sourdough bread, and white bread. I like to mix in a little bit of sour.
Need a little thyme in there, Larry. A little thyme.
A little bit of thyme. Not a lot, but a little bit of thyme. A lot of sage. Some cranberries, and then I pour over to wet it down some chicken stock. Then I mix it all up. Oh, yeah. It's really
See,
good.
This is why 95.7 Game.
And then sausage.
The greatest segment that will ever be done in the history of that station was my interview about Thanksgiving side dishes with Trent Baalke, where he wouldn't even commit to this favorite side dish. They can't play that audio anymore.
I don't want to commit, Damon. I feel like you're going to use it against me in a future episode.
Again, there were
I
times.
don't want to say one way or another. I'm a man that has no personality and very little personnel acumen.
I one time asked Baalke, what color shirt are you wearing? Are you comfortable telling me that? And he's like,
Damon, I'm wearing a white shirt.
As soon as the interview is over during the commercial break, Bob Sargent calls me and says he's wearing a black shirt. He's wearing a black shirt today. He's not wearing a white shirt.
That's awesome.
Anyway, look, it's really good to have
about his own shirt.
Yeah, it's really good to have everyone.
I didn't want to sound like a Raiders fan.
And we got to talk just a little bit about them here, Larry. Can we
what? We got over 2,000 people in the room, and we're going to talk Raiders.
No. We don't want to chase everyone away. But if Schadenfreude is part of
The
being
holiday
a 49er
fogger
fan,
of that's like the Raiders are the holiday fogger of streaming. You know, you turn that thing on, and all of a sudden everything's dead.
what a clown show they have. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. We probably shouldn't talk about him very much, but it's a staggering clown show. Can we talk a little bit about Brandon Aiyuk? Because I was down in LA. The only time I leaned into, I got to do something, I got to do a video here, is when I saw this news and I was like, wow, why now? And why does this come out now? When apparently it was done back in July. Why didn't the story come out then? And it certainly explains the awkward relationship better than any level of understanding that we've had here up to this point.
Well, you know what? I'm glad you brought this up, because every time Aiyuk's name has come up with Shanahan or with Lynch, their answer is one thing, but their attitude is another. Like, they sound like every time his name has come up, they've sounded either like he's nowhere close to returning, or that they themselves are not that enthused about it, because that's what it sounds like. Kyle, John, what's the status of Brandon? Oh yeah. I mean, that was a catastrophic injury. And yeah, he's getting better. He's getting better. Yeah, he's getting better. Things are progressing there. Things are progressing. That's what we can say. I mean, it's like intentionally vague, intentional misdirection, and it's a little galling, really, if since they knew about this for months, and they're basically making a fools of the rest of us as we're sitting there asking questions every couple weeks about what's up with Brandon. I just saw him outside my door. He's coming back. He's this and that. Well, what about how you guys voided all of his money? And then Shanahan was asked, well, the obvious freaking question, what happened? I'm not going to get into specifics on that.
Yeah.
There were a number of things from July that, to me, are more on the business side, dealing with lawyers and contracts. That kind of stuff is not my area of expertise.
No, wrong. It is. You're also the general manager, and everyone knows it. You pick and make every decision for this team, Kyle. You cannot duck behind the "I'm just the coach" corner. You can't.
Well, how about this? Then he goes on to say, what happened in July, to me, doesn't have anything to do with the future. Okay. He goes on to say, it had to do with circumstances that, to me, were out of a coach's hand. The best way I can explain when it comes to business matters and lawyers and contracts, when it comes to the future of this, I would love for him to be here. I would love for him to get healthy and get back to really helping us out and get back to being part of this team. I still hold out hope that he can get there, but he obviously hasn't gotten there yet. So what is it? So then I'll give you some other basic info before we get deeper into this. If Aiyuk is released without a post-June 1st designation, his 2026 dead cap hits $29 million. If Aiyuk is released with a post-June 1st designation, prior to June 1st, you can do a dead cap hit of $8 million in 26, and then the balance of $21 million in 27. So you can spread it over the next two caps. So that's really the only thing left to be determined. If he's still on the team, by the way, he'll count for $15 million on their cap in 2026. If he's cut, either way, the Niners are going to save $27 million from what was originally guaranteed to Aiyuk. And that's a pure cash savings. So according, though, to Mike Garafolo of the NFL Network, the 49ers, while this is going on, reportedly are also committed to getting Brandon Aiyuk healthy and on the field this year. And the quote was, the belief is that he's close to being cleared and can still work his way into being a Niner this year and beyond. They've already paid out $29 million in other bonuses. They'll save $27 million off their original outlay if they move on from him. I don't know what the hell is going on. I really don't. Does that sound real obvious and cut and dried to anybody? Because that, to me, sounds like a clusterfuck of confusion.
Now, what if he did step out on the field and decided, I'm going to play, re-injures himself?
There's no more guaranteed money. It's gone.
So then why in God's name would he do it? To me, there's no benefit of proving that you can do it. The only thing Brandon Aiyuk needs to show to his next team is how healthy I am now. You will be guaranteed, I would think, to be healthier with an entire other offseason. So now you've got 18 months almost, 16 months of recovery for your catastrophic knee. If the Niners, why would Brandon Aiyuk play another down for the San Francisco 49ers to get out there and show anyone anything? I don't know why he would. And to me, Larry, this whole thing, more than anything, you can put it on Aiyuk, you can blame him, immaturity, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of fingers to point, I guess. To me, this whole thing, it was avoidable by a team with better personnel instincts. And the 49ers have proven beyond the shadow of a doubt that their personnel instincts lead them to decisions that they instantly regret. At least it did here for Brandon Aiyuk. From the minute they signed him, it seemed like absolute total regret. And that was before the injury. And it just seemed like, what did we do? Why did we do it? Look at the way the rest of this team is built. Did we make the right choice? The truth is, Brandon Aiyuk should have been traded before the 2024 draft. The 49ers should have never wrapped up all this money in him if they didn't think it was the right thing to do. And it's time for John Lynch to be promoted out of the general manager's office. How many times? It's done.
Wait, we're going in a million different directions.
Okay.
Let's first focus on the big story here, which is, it seems like the 49ers ownership and the 49er coaching staff have a different plan. The ownership is saying goodbye, and the coaching staff is saying, not yet. We're trying to get you ready to play this year. So, I mean, if you told me, yeah, my mom and dad are getting divorced, and then all of a sudden we see them dancing at a party on Saturday night, we're like, hey, D, I thought your folks were getting divorced. I saw them dancing in a party Saturday night. Well, what is it? Are you getting divorced or not? I mean, which one is it? I mean, the first report sounded like they're getting divorced. The second report, Garofalo, didn't sound as though a divorce between the two sides is a certainty. He's saying that it's a possibility that Aiyuk plays for the 49ers this year, and even suggested that he could be back with the team next year. So, I mean, this is a wild amount of reporting. It's all over the map. The Athletic reported the other day that he had $27 million in guarantees for next season voided. Why, once that happens, aren't you warring with Aiyuk? And to me, if you said what's going on, I think that the Niner ownership Parag is all about Jed's money, and Shanahan's all about winning. Shanahan wants a win, so he's talking about Aiyuk, the football player. Bean counter Parag is just trying to recoup as much of the $20 million of Jed's money as possible because he knows it's a bad deal. So they were looking for a way out, and Aiyuk was sloppy and gave them a reason to beg out, and they took it. If it was $2, they wouldn't have, but it was $20 million, so they did. And so now it seems like real obvious that this thing's heading for a divorce. But now you got Kyle Shanahan talking to the media. He spoke to reporters on Saturday and said that Aiyuk remains week to week. And his quote was hoping he can clear all of his markers so he can come back and start his practice window.
Well, so the Niners,
what's going on?
The Niners have to be the adult in the room here. And they do need to do everything in their power to rehab and resuscitate this player's health. And that's important. So you asked, like, mom and dad are getting divorced. So why are they dancing? They're doing it for the kids. They're doing it for the kids. And that's why you do the very best you can by Brandon Aiyuk in terms of rehabbing and practicing and all this, because you're doing it for the next players who are going to be 49ers. You do it for your reputation and how you treat players. So I understand why the Niners have these sort of mixed messages. The problem begins before you even start sending the mixed messages. You got to make a more concrete decision. You can't have so much ambiguity after a $120 million contract. And that was just, it's so weird. And what's really weird and disappointing about this whole thing is Brandon Aiyuk, when he was healthy and before everything got weird, was a really good Niner. He was a good Niner. Him and Brock had some chemistry. He was an outstanding blocking wide receiver. If you want to talk about why Christian McCaffrey don't pop like he quite used to, Brandon Aiyuk not blocking is as much part of the reason as the offensive line not really doing it that much anymore either. I really believe that. So it's just the whole thing is a freaking shame.
Well, you know what it comes down to is that if somebody owes you a shit ton of money and you're worth it, let's say they owe you 10 million, but you're worth 100 million, you can do whatever you want. You got job security. But if somebody pays you 100 million and maybe you're only worth 10 million, you don't have job security. And that's what happened here, I think, with Aiyuk. Is Aiyuk, when he was going great, he had great job security. As soon as he tore his knee up, he went from they have buyer's remorse to they want to get out of this contract any way possible. And they're sitting there. How do we get out of this contract? How do we get out of this contract? And then basically there's obviously fine print connected to things that he had to do. And once he didn't do them, the Niners are like, we got this guy over a barrel. So they told him in July, hey, by the way, we're voiding all the guaranteed money on the contract to get their money back and to get out of that commitment. So that's what the whole thing was about, getting out of that commitment. So now they're out of the commitment. And the surprising part is that Aiyuk isn't going to fight it because obviously he knows that he voided the contract and made some mistakes. And people are like, well, why is he not doing this? Why is he not challenging? He's not challenging it because he knows he'd lose. Nobody doesn't challenge, they owe you $20 million if they actually owe you the $20 million. He just is not going to waste any time because he knows that there were 5 or 6 things in this contract that were probably things that he had to do that he did not do. So he knows he's going to lose that grievance with any independent arbiter. So he knows that's why he's going along with it. But it only makes sense. The story only makes sense is if Aiyuk wants nothing to do with the Niners and the Niners want nothing to do with Aiyuk. Where the story starts becoming what's going on with the Niners is when Shanahan starts talking about, let's get him back. What can he do for us? We'd like to have him back. Well, then is Shanahan the one? I mean, Shanahan basically said what happened in July was above my pay grade. So what sounds like what happened in July is that the bean counters with the Niners, the people who are about the money, said, hey, we've got an avenue out of this thing, and we want to get out, and we're going to take that avenue. And Shanahan was like, okay.
Okay, so another avenue out would have been to trade him and regain or recoup some assets.
That was before they signed him. This is after they signed him.
Okay, but again, so we can't be having instant regret over major purchases all the time. Like, we're operating on a budget. What do you do? They should have, again, more conviction.
Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, it's obvious they should have traded him. I mean, they should have traded him when they had offers for him. When teams were offering them players and seconds and thirds, they should have traded him. I mean, because why? Because receivers come out of nowhere and return there, because every draft is plentiful with tons and tons of receivers, because everybody's playing spread in college football. So there's more receivers now than ever before. I mean, there's like 19 different reasons that they should have said goodbye. The same reason that Green Bay said goodbye to Devontae, Buffalo said goodbye to Diggs, that Kansas City said goodbye to Tyreek Hill. I mean, all the same reasons that all those teams said goodbye were the reasons the Niners should have said goodbye. But Shanahan was thinking about Shanahan and was like, hey, I want to win. And I want to win now.
And
I don't want to get rid of this guy.
What's crazy is as much as we complain about who else is going to play wide receiver for the 49ers, apparently the answer is any swinging dick can do it. This team's leading the NFL in passing without anybody protecting the quarterback or catching footballs. So how's that happen? So did you need Brandon Aiyuk? Did you have to do it? Can you do it with anybody?
You could make the same claim, Damon, that you don't need Purdy then. Yeah, you did it with your backup quarterback. You did it with your backup receiver. Why Why do I need to pay Purdy? Why do I need to pay anybody? I can just do it with scrub beanies,
Yeah. And a lot of people did make that argument, didn't they?
Yeah.
This is from Roy. Roy, this is some truth right here. He says 2% of your employees will occupy 95% of your time. And those
it's a sales thing. It's a sales axiom. I used to say it all the time when I was doing sales. 5% of your clients take up 95% of your time. 95% of your clients take up 5% of your time. If you're really going to be great at sales, being able to identify your problematic 5% is probably the most valuable thing that you do.
Look at how much business and hold up a business and other business that could have been done in the name of Brandon Aiyuk. It's like the Jonathan Kuminga situation almost. Look at the amount of business and headache and attention and stress and anxiety and game plan and blah, 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 blah around Jonathan Kuminga, who in the end is just a guy. He's good. But he's not like stop your entire franchise to work around him.
He's super springy, and now he's got knee problems.
Exactly.
The Warriors are, used all of it. Anybody who trades anything significant for Jonathan Kuminga is a damn fool, because his greatest trait is his super springiness. And as he reaches his late 20s, that evaporates. And then you've got the player, and the player's pretty ordinary.
This is should have traded Brandon Aiyuk at the peak of his value, should have traded Kuminga at the peak of his value. And, when you talk about what's going wrong today, I think both franchises can look back at those decisions. So, I mean, I don't think we see him play another down for the 49ers. I just don't. How could that be a possibility or a reality? Why would Brandon Aiyuk's agent allow that to happen? Aiyuk is more valuable as a mystery than going back out on the here's the thing. What if you go back out on the field and you really underperform? What if you go back out on that field and it doesn't click at all, and there or whatever? It just doesn't. Now what are you worth, Brandon, coming off your knee injury and playing poorly? So I just wouldn't expose him. With no future guarantees, I am not exposing my player to the NFL. The next play you play can be your last play.
Look at it this way. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but from the 49ers perspective, if he wants to come back and try to help them win games,
why would he?
They don't have, since they've already voided all the guarantees, they're not really risking anything.
Why would he? Do you think Brandon Aiyuk has
why would he? I'm asking the question from the Niner perspective, and you're tackling it from the other perspective. Yeah, from his perspective, why would he? Because maybe there's nobody out there that's willing to give him anything until he shows that he can return and produce on an NFL field. Maybe there's a team out there that's willing. I personally think he made a crushing decision. Why? Because your body is your life. Your body's your livelihood, and your body's broken. And while your body's broken, you walked away from guaranteed money. I mean, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I mean, it's like I think my Bentley could be totaled. Well, if it's now I'm going to try to sell it. It's like what? I mean, is it totaled or is it not totaled?
Well, Brandon Aiyuk doesn't make the best business decisions or investment decisions. Did you see his recent his latest purchase? 2 big diamond medallions that had like B on them. Now it's B for Brandon, or is there an A on there? I really can't tell. But if you want a piece of jewelry to really explode in value, have it be one of a kind. Nope. He has 2 identical ones dangling around. Does BB stand for bye-bye? I don't know. But, you've devalued your own jewelry investment by duplicating it. What are you doing?
I mean, nothing. Anyway. I mean, first of all, you show me that anybody who spends big money on jewelry, and I'll show you a damn fool.
Yeah.
I mean, you're seriously, you just lost guaranteed millions. What's the best move to do? Oh yeah, let's go buy some super expensive bauble that isn't going to has no real value to me. I mean, this is how guys wind up poor 3 years after they're done playing, is they spend huge money on things that can't sustain them and have no future value. I mean, that's an asset. That's an incredibly depreciating value. I mean, the most markup of anything is jewelry. I mean, it's like
a brand new car.
I mean, the worst things you could ever spend money on would be like would be like furniture, retail, jewelry, and cars. And what do many athletes buy? That. And that's the worst investments you could possibly have. You'd be better off living off your per diem and investing your money in something super safe and low percentage. I mean, if you have $1 million to invest and you're poor at any point in your life, you're a fool.
It's look, Brandon Aiyuk has made an awful lot of money already. And I'm sure he can afford those necklaces and still live a very nice life. But again, it's just it's poor planning, it's bad advice, and he's, I think, been surrounded by both, and maybe his own immaturity. And it's just a shame, man. It's just a shame because there was a good player there. There was a player that fit there, and it feels like they went out of the way to not make it fit. And both parties did very little to kumbaya a situation. Smoke 'em peace pipe never really happened, which is odd because they rolled this guy $120 million joint. So that's normally someone you can have a peace pipe with. Odds on Brandon Aiyuk's next team. Would you like dysfunction to meet dysfunction? Here's why I want to talk a little bit about maybe the Raiders. Raiders are the odds-on favorite, Larry, at 3-1. Bills going off at 4-1. Washington Commanders 5-1. Maybe there's a little Adam Peters or Jaden Daniels is my boy going on there. Jets 7-1. Packers 9-1. Steelers 10-1. Jacksonville Jaguars 16-1. They need a better group of wide receivers. Maybe going to Florida is what. I don't know. It's just
I could see him going to Washington. That's where Peters is. That's where Daniels is. I mean, he went on a podcast, and while he was a member of the Niners, he said that his dream was to play with Jaden Daniels. So why, now that he becomes a free agent, why wouldn't he go there? I mean, it would be seems like a no-brainer to me. But I also think he's damaged goods.
How about this?
I wouldn't want him back if I were the Niners. Get down the road.
AJ Brown out. Brandon Aiyuk in.
They can do better. Brandon Aiyuk is a receiver. I mean, it's no different than, hey, do you want to buy my Ferrari? Yeah, I want to buy your Ferrari. It was totaled, and it's got a bent frame. And do you still want to buy it? Well,
right. The rest of it's a Ferrari, but it just doesn't look right.
It was it got a bent frame, but it's had thousands of dollars of work though. You want it? Well, maybe not.
Right. Don't do a Carfax background check. You're not going to like what you see.
Yeah, I mean I don't want your car with a bent frame, and that's what Brandon Aiyuk is right now. He's a car with a bent frame. If you want it, you can have it. My guess is he's never. This is why this is so stupid. Because you're never going to recoup the kind of money that you just walked away from willingly. You just willingly walked away from $20 million. I bet you he gets nowhere near. I bet you between now and the end of his career, he gets nowhere near $20 million.
Whose next NFL contract will have a higher per season average? Juwan Jennings or Brandon Aiyuk?
Juwan Jennings, and neither is going to get really broken off. I think Jennings had no chance to return. It was funny too. There was a story about a week ago, and I don't know who had it. Somebody had this nugget, and I forget who it was, but I'm trying to find it. And it basically said that Jennings is gone unless Aiyuk's contract could be moved. And this was all before the whole Aiyuk contract thing came out. So it's like, did somebody know that his contract, was potentially not going to be on the books? Because now without it, now JJ's return is viable. He's still not going to get the big money deal, but he might come back, where before he wasn't coming back.
Would you like to hear the most impressive 1, 2, 3 list in all of football that's offered right now? First of all, can you and I both agree that the MVP, because of the way this league focuses on offense, particularly quarterbacks, there's zero chance an MVP will ever come from the defensive side of the football again? Right? And there's pretty much zero chance of that ever happening.
No, I would say it's going to happen, but it's going to have to be somebody who has an absurd year.
Well, that brings us to Myles Garrett. Because, and by the way, here's another reason why the 49ers better handle their business on Monday Night Football, because they go to Cleveland next. And I'm not saying be worried about Shador, but you damn well better be worried about Myles Garrett, who might kill Brock Purdy. I'm not even joking. He might kill Brock Purdy. Right now, the NFL sack leaders are Myles Garrett with 18, number one. It's Myles Garrett in his last 4 games. He's got 13. And then it's Brian Burns with 13. The last 4 games of Myles Garrett are the NFL's second leading sacker.
He's an amazing player. Even more amazing
playing defense. They're never going to give one away. If this guy breaks the single season sack record this year and one man wrecking crews things like we haven't seen in a really, really long time. I mean, not that the Browns are going anywhere, but it ain't his fault.
The Browns had 10 sacks this weekend and they had 20 hits on the quarterback. So that's a major problem. I mean, next week, this game right here is going to be a tough one for the Niners. Niners are getting a Carolina team, short week. Short week, and you've got a Carolina team that's rolling in here with better rest. So this one's going to be a challenge, but the next one's going to be a challenge too. So because they absolutely are, their wide 9 is destroying people. 20 hits on the quarterback. They're playing really, really well. Cleveland's playing well. Shador, had some highlight plays, whatever. He had some down moments. He's just okay. But the Browns defense is something to behold right now. They destroyed the Raiders. Shador completed about 50% of his passes, but they got Quinshon Judkins, they got Carson Schlesinger, and 20 hits on the quarterback. 20 hits on the quarterback. The 49ers hit Jacoby Brissett last week like 4 times.
I wouldn't say they hit him as much as they grazed him.
I didn't sacked him one time.
I didn't see Jacoby Brissett have to shake one off.
The Browns had 10 sacks yesterday. The Niners have 12 sacks for the year. The Browns had 10 sacks as a team yesterday. It's just, that's going to be a challenge. That is going to be a challenge for sure.
Yeah. And look at it this way. If the weather's bad in Cleveland, what happened to the Niners the last time the weather was bad in Cleveland to them? It did not go well. So take care of your business against an NFC opponent this week. You need to, and getting closer to that lead. Let me tell you right now, the Rams are a problem, Larry. The Rams are officially a problem. Did you see that Stafford has got it's ridiculous the amount of touchdowns to interceptions he's got over the last 8 weeks. I think it's 28-0 or something.
This idiot. Wheels and levers. Judkins averaging about 3.8 per carry. What the hell are you talking about? Yeah, you're right. You don't know what I'm talking about because you don't know shit about football. Because Quinshon Judkins has been terrific. Absolutely.
He's been
terrific.
really good.
Really good. He runs 4.4. He's 220 pounds. And you're telling me he's nothing good. And do I have to bust out the Quinshon Judkins card and show people exactly how good he really is?
Hey, you want to know why Kelly got fired yesterday? Because they finally figured out we got a really good rookie in Ashton Gianti here, and he's leading all rookies in touchdowns, yet we still suck out loud. How come we're not getting more out of him? It's because Chip Kelly is an NFL fraud. That's what's going on here.
And let's take a look, by the way. We'll share the screen for this idiot. Let me just drop this one on you. This right here is the Browns schedule, and here's their leading rusher. Week 1, it was Sampson from Tennessee. Judkins, Malachi Corley, Judkins.
Wasn't that the week Judkins was hurt?
He's their leading rusher.
Yeah. He's not bad. And look, the Browns
runs 4.4. He's 225 pounds. Wait, watch. You think the 49ers were run on last week by Arizona? You think some of these teams, can run on the Niners? Wait until you see Judkins. He's easily one of the best backs they've gone against this year. He's huge and fast and talented and has a chance to run for big yards. So what am I talking about? I wouldn't expect you to know because you're obviously fucking idiot.
Oh, boy.
Fucking idiot.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
I'm just
right.
Once again, what the hell am I talking about? What the hell are you talking about?
Well, dude, so I did a video about the Raiders blowing their shit up last night. And someone, dude, like I had a Raider fan tell me like, oh, dude, who are you to talk about the Raiders? No. I was the guy who sat on afternoon drive on your flagship station for about a decade. I've interviewed countless coaches, players, Hall of Famers, contributors about every single Raider angry fan evaluation was, Damon, you're just a hater. No, I was telling you exactly how bad it was in real time and how bad it was going to be next season because none of it fit together. It all was being done so erratically. It was being so colossally mismanaged, not some of the times, but all of the times. And by the way, when I got the zenith of the Raider era. I got the 8-8 Hugh Jackson. I got the 1 game over 500 Jack Del Rio. I mean, like I saw the zenith of the last 30 years of Raider football. It's not time for me to be quiet. It's time for you to finally shut up and take the medicine that I was trying to serve to you this entire time. Now's the time for every one of you to be quiet. I've been right for 20 years about this franchise. So the Raiders.
The Raiders badly needed to build up their offensive and defensive lines. So what did they do? They used a first-round draft pick on a running back. They signed Geno Smith to a big contract, and they didn't do anything really for their offensive line. And guess what?
Sounds like
Ashton Genty yesterday averaged 2.9 a carry. Geno Smith was sacked 10 times. Geno is not the answer. I don't know why anybody thought he was the answer. So they don't. I mean, you don't have a good offensive line. Your defensive line's only marginal. It's a bad outfit. It's a bad organization. They're poorly run. How long are they going to stay with Geno? How long are they going to stay with Carroll before they tear it all down again? And every time you tear it all down, you've got to build it back up. And how do you expect to run with the continuity of a Kansas City when they have Andy Reid, Dave Taub, Spags, Mahomes? They're in your division.
He gets the Chargers and Broncos to worry about now too.
But you keep changing your entire scheme and your coach and this, and it's like you never build your offensive line.
It's simple. It's the owner, Larry. I mean, that's the thing. And what's funny is somebody actually was like, what does Mark Davis do that you criticize him so much? No. You cannot canonize, lionize, and mythologize Al Davis the way Raiders fans did and tell me then in the same breath that ownership doesn't matter. His kid is a disaster. It's a disaster.
Well, he's born into money. So it's like he didn't earn that money. I mean, Al Davis didn't earn that money either, by the way. Al Davis was the biggest shyster of all time. He's just sued people, and that's basically how he made money. How he made money was suing people. So Al Davis was not, he was a scumbag, I think, personally. But there you go. Raider fans can believe whatever they want. Now, I've met Al Davis. I talked to Al Davis. I knew people who knew Al Davis. So before you at me with, oh, what do you know? I know more than you. And met him and talked to him.
That's not true, Kawakami.
That was John Herrera.
I know.
Yeah. But Al Davis was, he had some football genius in the 60s and in the 70s.
Right. He was the first guy. He was the first guy to really embrace throw it far.
Yeah. I mean, Al Davis. I mean, come on. I mean, the drafting of Al Davis. I mean, Al Davis had some of the worst personnel moves of all time. He drafted Ricky Dudley in the first round. He drafted all kinds of disasters.
By the way, speaking of disaster, do you see that right now, J.J. McCarthy, this point into his career, is worse, has only been the only quarterback who has ever been worse this many throws into their career as J.J. McCarthy is right now is Jamarcus Russell. That's how bad it is. The Minnesota Vikings.
J.J. McCarthy.
The Minnesota Vikings had Kirk Cousins, Sam Darnold, waved goodbye to both of them, weren't interested in talking to Aaron Rodgers, all for J.J. McCarthy. Oh, man, what a disaster that is. He's
bad.
Stinks.
No accuracy, no talent.
Right. That's the thing. He's not bad in like, he's just, rookies struggle. There's a learning curve. No, like he can't throw a ball out of bounds.
You got to be accurate. It's funny. People are like, Mac Jones is nothing special. Okay, fine. But guess what? Mac Jones can put the ball in the hands of a receiver as well as anybody. Brock Purdy's accurate, and watching Mac Jones at practice, it's like, look at this guy. This guy's just absolutely throwing it's like 25-yard handoffs. He is very, very accurate. So some of these teams that are looking at their quarterback, I saw J.J. McCarthy throw a simple out pattern, no pressure at all. Guys just running a simple out to the sideline. The receiver didn't even try to go for the football because it was such an errant throw. It was like 7 yards out away from the receiver. It was one of the worst throws I've ever seen. And there was no. You've got to put that on the guy's hands with pressure in your face. This guy can't put it on the guy's hands with no pressure at all. So
Larry, we've got a ton of supers to get to. And I know you got a really big day, so we won't take up too much of anyone else's time, because I've got a watch party tonight for Monday Night Football. You're going to be doing postgame from the stadium. We will, hopefully you let me know what goes on with your dentist cancellation, and hopefully we're doing a wake up tomorrow. If we got to go at 10 a.m., Larry, let's do that. You get in a little more sleep. My day kind of wide open because I'm home watching the boys, and I got an iPad to preoccupy them, so that should be okay. But there's one more thing that I've got to bring up because it's significant, and it's a division opponent. And everyone's talking about how Sam Darnold's pretty good this year, and he is. Jackson Smith-Njigba is already the greatest wide receiver sorry, Steve Largent. Jackson Smith-Njigba is already, right now, the single season yardage receiving leader with 5 more games to play. He is having an unbelievable season, and the Seahawks just are not going anywhere unless there's an injury. They are in this thing. Absolutely, they are. The Rams might be the best team in football. Sean McVay has his biggest point differential 12 weeks into this season than any season he's ever had as a head coach, and he's won a Super Bowl. So the Rams are a problem. The Seahawks are a problem. Keeping up with them is pretty damn impressive that the Niners have done it, given who they are, what has happened to them. They need to win tonight. They need this Monday Night Football win. This could be the difference in did you go to the postseason or not. This game tonight. I think it's going to be a fist fight, man. And this is the biggest game that the Carolina Panthers have played since 2018. They win it. They're in first place in their division. So it's a hell of a Monday night game.
It's a big one. It's a big game for sure. If the 49ers win, their playoff probability is like really high, like high 80s. If they lose, it falls into the low 60s. So it's an absolutely huge game.
Especially with a line of scrimmage destroyer like Myles Garrett just waiting for you next week.
Well, and now,
do you think Myles Garrett is looking at Colton McKivitt's film going,
you got to win these home games too, because you're going to have to play the Colts in Indy. You're going to have to play the Browns in Cleveland. There might be a couple of losses there. The 49ers, there are people that think the Niners are totally dead. I get it. There are other people that think that 49ers have a real shot in the playoffs. If they have a real shot in the playoffs, they're going to have to most likely do that on the road. So those games are all going to be tougher than this. So it's like, think of it this way. If you can't beat the Carolina Panthers at home, then you probably have no chance to go to Philly, LA, Green Bay, or any of these places in the NFC, Tampa, and win games on the road in the playoffs. So, this game is going to be an easier game than those games. So I would say take care. If you're really a serious, I mean, it's almost December. It's November 24th. We're late November here. If you can't really dominate a Carolina team that's 6-5 in your own backyard, at home, I mean, come on. In November, late November, you're probably not really.
Here's the thing. I think that domination has left the building. I don't think the 49ers are going to dominate anybody. Not once.
Well, they have to dominate. They have to dominate the time of possession.
They just got to win. They just got to win. That's all they.
I don't think they win. You're going to have to dominate the time of possession.
But they're not. Yes, their offense is going to have to cover
they
their.
Can't dominate.
But you cannot. You can't dominate when you put no pressure on the opposing offense, and they put no pressure on the opposing offense. All they can hope to do is win. I think if we're being completely honest about the San Francisco 49ers, the zenith of this year would be as banged up as you were. Did you actually reach the postseason? And if they say yes, we did. That was a good year, all things considered. Now it's going to leave everybody completely unsatisfied because yet another year you ain't winning the Super Bowl. And I'm telling you right now, even if they do get in, they're not winning a Super Bowl. Not with this.
Well, you don't know because, I mean, the bottom line is there's a lot of flawed teams. I mean, like, I watched Kansas City. They won yesterday. They didn't look very good. And I would say they're one of the best teams. Like, who is going to win the Super Bowl? It's like I thought it was going to be the Chargers, man.
The Rams.
It's not going to be the Chargers.
The Rams.
It might be the Rams. It might be the Rams. But the Rams also have an old quarterback and not a great secondary and not a great offensive line and not a great running game.
He's going to be named MVP in about 5 more weeks, Larry.
Right, but I'm just saying he's an older quarterback, and just to do it in October and November is not the same as doing it in January. There's a major difference. To me, older quarterbacks start to feel their age in December, and that you can be looking great in November, and older quarterbacks sometimes look old by the time it comes to the playoffs. So we'll see. You're right, though. Right now, Stafford looks amazing.
Right.
It's not an amazing football team.
Older, like, he actually threw an interception for the first time in 2 months. I mean, that would be the appearance of the wrinkles on Matthew Stafford. For a guy who had, a core injury, abdominal, whatever was wrong with him at the beginning of the bad back, he's fine now. Holy shit.
Playing the best he's ever played. I mean, a young Stafford would throw picks. This guy doesn't throw picks. So, I mean, he's playing the best he's ever played. I just don't think I don't see a world beater team out there. I think everybody's kind of like an injury away from being pretty mediocre. So you just keep rolling and see what you can do. All right, let's hit our supers. But we are brought to you by, on the Krug Show side, our good friends at Habas Law. And Habas Law does so many good things for the community. And I just want to reach out and basically say thank you to Habas Law. But their number is 1-800-INJURED. They will fight to make it right. HabasLaw.com on the web, HABBAS law.com. My dad was a longtime attorney. My brother's a judge. I really believe in the power of a great attorney. And that's what Habas Law is. Omar and Tarek Habas are great attorneys, and they're rooted here in the community, and they do a lot of great initiatives that help the community. But give them a call. If you're in need of a great lawyer and somebody who will stand up to insurance companies and beat them, call Habas Law, 1-800-INJURED. They will fight to make it right, HabasLaw.com on the web. All right, let's hit some supers here. PWS West Coast. I heard a mock trade between Golden State and Sacramento. Now we're talking NBA.
We're not
where
talking
Golden
about
State would send Kuminga, Moody, and Buddy Hield to Sacramento for Sabonis and Ellis. Would you do this? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that Keon Ellis?
Whatever the Warriors got, it ain't it.
Yeah, I mean, Kuminga, lots of run and jump, not a lot of basketball skill, but people are intrigued because he's such a jumper. Moody, total middle of the road player. Hield, kind of an older gunner. Sabonis, big man who's got more talent. He's an all-star big man. I don't know why they would do that deal, to be honest, Sacramento, but maybe Sacramento would. If they would, I would do it.
And Keon Ellis would be, to me, that's your best on-ball defender the minute he joins the team. So
yeah, I like Keon Ellis. He was good at Bama. Bill Kennedy says, what if BA plays and gets hurt? What then? Yeah, exactly. Then, but I mean, he's got no more guaranteed money. So only thing that could be guaranteed would be the rest of this year. And they would
can you cut an injured player? Are you allowed to cut an injured?
Yes, you cut an injured player. You have to have an injury settlement with them. There would have to be some kind of a settlement. We got this one. Good morning, Tommy Huxley. Good morning, kids. I want to see batted down passes. Thank you.
Hands up, Alfred Collins. Hands up tonight.
M. Tengberg, Lair, would you ever consider having Gary Radnich on as a guest, or is there bad blood? Oh, there's no bad blood at all. I'd love to have Gary on as a guest, and I will reach out to him. But he's very private and doesn't like to do a whole lot. But there's never bad blood. I mean, my God, Gary and I will be friends forever. But yeah, I will reach out to him.
You can't do anything for him anymore, Larry. I bet you probably wouldn't even return your call.
No, he will. M. Tengberg says, I'd love to see more of Nick Martin tonight. I believe he could be what Chris Borland was before his retirement. Looked solid last week. Yeah. We begged for this guy. Tons of people were like, I can't play. Really? 14 plays. Kyle said he had 13 good plays, and he made 7 tackles in 14
By the way, though,
plays.
let's put some respect on that one Chris Borland season. It's too bad he cared about thinking later in life, because he was a hell of a linebacker. Like, he was instantly really good. Nick, I hope will be good, but he ain't that.
No, but I mean, Borland wasn't this. As far as Borland wasn't this kind of athlete. I mean, Borland had great instincts, but Borland didn't have this kid's body or speed. PWS says, they told me bust out my AP perfect timing. My AP? What's my AP?
I don't know.
Not sure. Fuji says, Larry, Reardon football won the CCS title first since 2007. I saw my SI Wildcats are still alive, though. They beat Menlo this weekend. Todd Husak's Menlo team went down to my Northgate team and then lost to my Wildcats. Fuji Simeon, SI always gave half days off before Thanksgiving. Well, heck, we used to get Wednesdays off in grammar school. I remember Wednesday a half day, then you were off Thursday, then you were off Friday, and then you were back at school on Monday. Now they're giving these kids the whole week off.
The whole week off. Jack is off whole week.
Yeah. And if you work, man, that's really a pain in the butt. Silence says Young's over-under pass yards is 209.5. Easy over? I would say.
Yeah. I mean, if Jacoby Brissett can look like Dan Marino against you, I'm guessing Bryce Young could go for 210.
No, I would say I would put that. If you said give me Young's actual over-under, I'd put it at 310. I really would.
When I put together my sleeper play for tonight's watch party, we're going to, as always, take a Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown. That's a given. Niners can't win without him scoring, so that's going to have to happen. And I'm going to take a Bryce Young passing over. I think he's going to absolutely throw on the Niners tonight.
No doubt. I mean, if Brissett had 10 incompletions and he can't move at all and he didn't have any of his receivers, how's this kid going to do after passing for 4? He passed. They had 484 yards or 448 yards passing, and McMillan is a foot and a half taller than the Niners defender who's going to guard him. So yeah, I mean, I would definitely go with the over there. Silence says, Larry, November 29th, SISH football for the CCS Division II section title. The alums from both schools in the SF City Attorney's Office are pushing to move the game to San Francisco. To San Francisco. Where are they playing?
Where would they play it?
Fuji, tell us where they're actually playing. SISH should be at Kezar.
Yeah,
right?
Don't they play that at Kezar?
I mean, they should play that thing at Kezar, or what they should do is play that thing at Oracle Park and just put in a football deal and play at Oracle Park.
There's why so you can have 25,000 empty seats to watch the game. I mean, it's a high school game.
But it's a big high school game.
You'd be lucky to draw $10,000, which at Kezar looks like a full stadium.
Yeah, Kezar's fine. Kezar's fine. Only thing is, it's about the surface and how well it's being taken care of. I think Kezar, we'll see. I don't know what Kezar's surface looks like. We got this one. Okay, so that's that one. Wait. Then I just hit the wrong button. There we go. Here we got this. Fuji, congrats on A&M and IU. What if they meet in the playoffs? Man, that will be an incredible game. I think IU is the best coach team I've seen in the country.
In America.
Yeah, I do think so, but IU doesn't have A&M's talent. A&M does have amazing talent. I mean, 3 of their offensive linemen are going to be great in the NFL. Their quarterback's going to be really good. The running backs are good. The receivers are good. The tight ends good. I mean, they got big time players.
Look at it this way: Cignetti and the Hoosiers might be able to beat the Raiders.
Joseph Ernberg, this BA thing shows this organization is a laughingstock. Well, no, what it does show, though, is that they're not on the same page. They're not on the same page. Shanahan and Lynch sound like they're like, BA can come back and help them out. But the ownership was like, we are getting out of that commitment. Whether you guys want to get out of it or not, we're getting out of it.
By the way, and this happened back in July. Why did this boil to the surface now? Because he's about to return, so they finally had to get it out there? What?
Or maybe, I don't know. Is it because
Rossini and Silver finally got it?
I don't know. Yeah, why now? Why is it now a story? Ryan says Rams 49ers expectations this year are clearly different, but man, it's tiring. Rams have no contract or injury drama. What if Jimmy G gets a ring at Levi's? Oh my God. I don't think the Rams are going to get it done. I think somebody's going to beat the Rams. Something tells me the Rams are not going to win at Levi's, but it's going to take some major effort to beat them. Fuji Simeon, I guess Aiyuk isn't giving the 49ers an A grade.
On that next report card that the NFL Players Union doesn't want filled out anymore.
Ryan Alloy, Larry, saw your Chase Senior video. Your thoughts on his reporting 49ers handle injuries, training, strength, and conditioning differently than other teams. Just because I stream with anybody, everybody's entitled to their own opinions. And I don't know 100% what his opinions are. I know he's written about the facility, the practice facility being near, some electronic wiring and that kind of stuff.
It was there for decades before Shanahan was hired.
Right. I mean, I've made that point many times, so I don't understand that point. But I think Chase is probably making other points about their training and their strength and conditioning. The bottom line is, the job of a strength and conditioning coach is to make sure the players are available. And the 49ers have so many players who are not available that how could they possibly have the right strength and conditioning coaches? But that might be a little too simplistic overall in the grand scheme of breaking this thing down. And I don't want to call for anybody's head without really properly being informed. I just think that's one of the most distasteful things that you can do when you're sitting behind a mic is call for somebody's job before you've actually done the homework on why you're calling for their job. I know that we're all frustrated. I know the Niners are too injured. I know their practices cannot be what they need to be, but I also don't feel confident enough to point the finger at any one individual and say that guy's the reason and that guy needs to go.
Right. We're always looking to frame the criminal. It's your fault. You're the one. It's never like that. I'm sure that every single strength and conditioning coach who has reached the level of NFL strength and conditioning coach is probably good at getting guys stronger or conditioned. Like, you can't get the job without being good at it. But there is something odd. There is something really weird going on. And what I would like to see the 49ers do this offseason, Larry, isn't necessarily fire anybody, but go hire someone else. Again, John Lynch does not need to be fired, but I want this team to use ChatGPT, AI, whatever it needs to do to determine over the last 6 seasons, who is the single best draft, who drafts the best? Who is he? Find that person, go double that person's salary and bring them to San Francisco to be your GM. Same thing with a strength trainer. You can use, because everything is quantifiable, you can use data to prove who has the healthiest football team over the last decade. Go hire that guy, double his salary. There is no cap on the amount of money you can spend on supporting your team in its front office or in its weight room. Go spend more than anyone else. Go get the best in the industry at it. That's what I would do if I were the 49ers.
I just hit AI and I asked the question, who is the best general manager in football? And it spit out
Howie Roseman,
Brad Holmes, Detroit, Eric DeCosta, Baltimore, Nick Caserio, Houston, John Schneider, Seattle. There you go. Just get one of those guys, right? Simple.
There you go. And that's the thing. Well, Howie Roseman's never going to leave Philadelphia. Bullshit. Every man has his number.
Well, I mean, there is no cap as it pertains to this. So if somebody really has proven to be exemplary, you're foolish if you don't bring them in because there's no cap. You can pay them anything you want, and there's nobody telling you not to. So yeah, I personally think that they don't need to fire anybody, but I would like to see a reshuffling of the decision making up front. And I think the reality is that, have they hit on some? Yeah. Have they missed on some? Yeah. And so really what we're talking about is the people who want to say these guys are great can argue that their hits were great. The people want to argue that these guys are terrible can argue that their hits are terrible and too many. Ultimately, it just really comes down to, what's your perspective on it, and can you do better? Can you do better? And what I would do is, to me, I think they've got a good process, but I think they need that young star personnel evaluator who is going to get 10 of the next 12 decisions right.
Look at it this way, Larry. I don't care if he's young, old. I don't care if he's white, black, any other color, race, creed. I don't give a shit who he is. Identify him, hire him, and do better in your first 3 rounds, because that's why you're not going to Super Bowls.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've been saying for weeks. Tommy Huxley, Geno Smith, CBP college. I don't know what the CB Player of the Year from what? Being trash. I don't know what that.
Tommy, next time you use them English, thank you for the super.
Tommy, seriously, I need a little bit more there. Jesse Jasso, thank you, Jesse.
Thank you, Jesse.
PWS West Coast breaking. Strong safety starting Sunday, or SS starting Sunday, and let's get a dub. Who's SS?
I don't know. I don't. Wait, here's the thing. Why is everyone such a big time that you got to use initials?
SS starting Sunday. Let's get a dub.
Sterling Sharp, Shannon Sharp.
No. Who is starting? Who's SS? God, strong safety? I don't know. PWS West Coast. I need more, bro.
Look at it this way. We would love to respond to all of your questions. Please ask your questions in English and make them understandable. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah. Fuji Simeon, Mark Davis, all that money and his great haircut. I know. Seriously.
Again, I don't. Here's the thing.
With that thing.
I'm not here to make fun of the way anyone looks. You have a billion.
No, if you have a Dumb and Dumber haircut, you can.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. You got a billion different other things to complain about other than that dude's haircut. That dude's haircut is actually the best thing for the Raiders because it's the most dependable thing. It's the only consistency of the entire organization. Mark Davis has been in that haircut longer than the Raiders have been in Las Vegas.
Joseph Ernberg. Shador after one game already better than Brock.
Oh boy.
Stop it.
Shador Sanders technically right now should be in the MVP conversation. Let's continue.
Jesse Jasso, Larry Damon, thank you for your Raider content. I feel like I can get this. I can't get this from JT the Brick as much as I love him. His hands are tied to the Raiders. Also, I went to the big game and that sucked. Yeah.
I'm sure it did.
Dude, is Justin Wilcox fired?
He's out. He did get fired.
Oh, he did get fired?
He got fired yesterday.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah. Got fired yesterday.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Well,
again, here's the thing. So if Sagapolatelli transfers now, that was probably the wrong move.
Yeah. But, I mean, I was just at the presser for the big game, and Ron Rivera, the general manager, was asked, is Wilcox going to be fired? Yeah, I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to address that. Sure enough. They lose the game. I mean, Cal was an 8 or 9 or was it 8 or 7.5 point, 8-point favorite, and they got destroyed. They got destroyed in the big game. I feel bad, man, for Wilcox because, oh man, I mean, and I'd love to know who Cal thinks they can get. Well, by the way, I'll say this: don't discount Wilcox showing up at Stanford.
It is It's the wrong time to be getting into the hiring cycle because you're going to get the 5th, 6th, 7th best guy out there. You got too many SEC openings, and it's just there's going to be more openings. There always are. I also think that your problem now, Cal, isn't who's necessarily your coach. It's how much you're about to spend on this team. How deep into NIL are you going to get? And if you're going to put a C- effort there, remember, Sonny Dykes wasn't good enough for Cal. The minute Sonny Dykes got out of Berkeley, all he's done is win. He was in the college football playoffs, so
I know Sonny Dykes and Sonny Dykes,
good coach.
Sonny Dykes, a good coach. Sonny Dykes was looking to leave. Sonny Dykes' wife wanted to live in Texas. He's from Texas. He came out to Northern California. He realized it sucked. And then he's like, you know what? I got to go back to Texas. So that's what his wife is decided, that they want to live in Texas. So as soon as the job came open in Dallas, it was like he was gone. And sure enough, he jumped. But yeah, who's Cal going to get better than Wilcox right now? I mean,
by the way, PW West Coast says that I thought you'd all know that SS is Shador Sanders. No, Shador Sanders has no nickname yet. Shador Sanders is not home. He's not a household name based on a nickname that no one's SS. Come on.
Shador Sanders sucks.
And we don't know that. We don't know that yet.
He's going to suck. He's going to suck. I mean, he completed 50% of his passes yesterday. People are losing their mind because he had one downfield pass. He had one great downfield pass.
He's the first rookie Cleveland Browns quarterback to win his starting debut since 1995. I think I heard.
Does it count if you beat the Raiders? Terrence M. Right now, Brock is McNabb's career. Mobile pocket passer, took team to multiple NFC championships and a bowl. Coach is a genius who hasn't won, so fans still unsure of him. Lost to a best quarterback coach of his era for third and back-to-back chip. Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably a good comparison.
How about
I'll tell you my Donovan McNabb story. McNabb, I ran into McNabb in a bar in Phoenix during spring training, and we were watching his Syracuse Orangemen play Kansas in like a late round game. This is a number of years ago. And we were I had me and like 7 or 8 of my boys were there. We're sitting around this table, and he had 7 or 8 of his boys sitting there. And they were watching the game, and we had big money on Syracuse before we even walked into the place. So we were kind of rooting for Syracuse. Once he finds out that we're rooting for Syracuse, he points over at our table and does one of these
and around
is like, I got this table the rest of the night. And he put down his card at this bar in Phoenix, in Scottsdale, and paid for 7 guys' drinks for the entire night.
That's awesome.
Had to be $500 easily.
Which is
he doesn't even know us.
That's a residual off one Chunky Soup commercial.
I guess, but man, McNabb's a good dude. I think the Brock McNabb comparison is probably a good one right now.
Well, how about this? They're not comparable, I don't think, really as players, but the situation, yeah, there is a lot of echoing in the situations right there. And one of the coolest times I've ever had I think maybe the coolest moment I've had on Radio Row during a Super Bowl was I was interviewing Steve Young, and Donovan McNabb was walking by, saw Steve, sat down, and just crashed the interview. So now I've got Steve Young and Donovan McNabb talking quarterback mobility, and that was awesome. That was one of the coolest, just happened to happen moments of my career in radio. So I like McNabb. McNabb's a badass.
McNabb's a good dude. Fuji Simeon says they are playing at San Jose Community College.
Where?
SISH playing at San Jose Community College. Yeah, let's take 2 teams from the city and let's march them 50 miles south. Fen says, I asked if Aiyuk,
Larry.
Fen, I asked if Aiyuk push practice window. I asked if Aiyuk's push practice window was Lynch knees for we are trading him. Last time I was on here, all I got was it was a catastrophic injury. Kind of seems like writing was on the wall. I don't think they're going to be able to trade him. I'd be very surprised if they could trade him, especially now that you've announced that you're going to walk. You've already eliminated all of his guaranteed money. I think it's kind of a fait accompli that he'll be elsewhere.
Well,
I don't know why anybody would trade for him other than maybe jump the line.
Right.
If somebody wants to jump,
that would be it. That would be it. Somebody is identifying Aiyuk as damaged goods with a bad attitude, and a new face in a new place is all he needs. And knowing that you've already said you're going to cut him, now I'll offer you a fifth for Brandon Aiyuk.
I'd call Peters in Washington and say, you know what? Give us Christian's brother, and he's yours. There you go. You can have him for Christian's brother. We got this one from Joseph Ernberg. 1 first-round pick in 9 years will play tonight. I know. It's so bad. I mean, that really is it. I mean, I like John Lynch. I think John Lynch has done a lot of good things, but the reality is that they're not getting anything out of their first-round picks.
And by the way, and the first-round pick you're talking about is what, Ricky Pearsall?
Right. Fuji Simeon, he meant Gino's comeback player of the year to this year.
Oh.
Okay.
Gino will not be named comeback player of the year. But Christian McCaffrey will be.
The Raiders, I mean, he's on a worse team. What's the difference between Gino now and Gino before? He's not being as supported as well as he was before. We've got this one from Vin Nguyen. Says, or Vin Win. He says, Lynch needs to be promoted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way it's the thing. It's
promoted out of the decision-making ability of being the personnel guy.
Look, John Lynch absolutely has a job and a role that he could fill for the 49ers, which is an asset to the organization. I don't believe that role is primary personnel decision maker any longer, and we think we got enough evidence to back that up.
Well, I mean, the bottom line is, you know what? A lot of guys who are really talented, Steve Kerr, John Lynch, guys who are educated and they're great athletes. They were great at what they did. Yeah, you could make an argument that they're qualified for anything. You could make an argument that Steve Kerr is qualified to be the president. You could make an argument that John Lynch is qualified for anything, that Bob Myers is qualified for anything. But you know what? It takes a different skill set to be a all-pro and Hall of Fame strong safety than it does to be an announcer. And then now John has both traits. He can be a great announcer and he can be a Hall of Fame safety. Okay, and then it takes a different skill set to be a personnel evaluator. And it's not like sometimes you're not blessed with every single skill set. I mean, just because you're smart and went to Stanford doesn't mean that you can become better than Howie Roseman at Howie Roseman's job. And that's what it's going to take to win the Super Bowl. So it's not that John is not good. It's just that there are great people, that there are people that weren't Hall of Fame safeties, that weren't broadcasters, that aren't multifaceted, that this is all they do. And they do it really, 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 really freaking well. Okay. And that's what he's up against. So here's this guy trying to have his third awesome career, battling guys who this is what they do. This is their awesome career. It's like somebody who's a great, television star, and they're also a great athlete, but then they just assume that they can be a better host than Damon Bruce. Well, radio host. Well, guess what? Damon Bruce has been a radio host for 25 years. So, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you're a talented football player. Yeah, you're a talented TV guy, but you know what? The skill sets are a little bit different when you transfer to radio. And
First
now it's like,
Larry,
but I'm just saying, not everybody can do everything.
You know what John Lynch would be great at? And now we're really going to over promote John here, but you know what he'd be really, really good at?
Commissioner of the league.
Yes, it's exactly what I was going to say. He would be the perfect next commissioner of the NFL. They're not going to give him the job. He's not lawyered up enough. I don't think he's involved in the league's business enough to just cut the line in front of more qualified people for that. But he'd be great at it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think would be a great president of the Niners. It's just promote.
Guido's like, hey.
There's a guy walking around. I mean, believe me, I know because I know these guys, and heck, I consider myself one of these guys. There are people walking around who you could, with no notes, you could walk up to them and talk about the best college football wide receivers, and they're in the know. They're absolutely in the know. They're that kind of micro, right? To be a great draft guy, you have to be unbelievable micro. You go up to John Schneider right now. You go up to Howie Roseman right now, and you start talking about safeties around college football. They know them, and they know which ones are good, and they know which ones they like, and they already have a pretty good idea of the framework of the upcoming draft class. So that you don't get there by being kind of into it. You get there by being all consumed by it. And John Lynch is a little bit too balanced to be all consumed by the draft. And so that's what it takes. And I would, if I were them, I would promote him to president, give him a raise, and go find the best college scouting director in the entire league. And as Damon says, double his salary and bring him here. And then let him have control. Let him have control of the draft. Give it 5 years and see where you're at. I think you're going to like
the thing. Do you really want to win a Super Bowl? Do you really, really want a Super Bowl? Run this experiment twice. Find me the guy who hits on the highest percentage of draft picks on days 1 and 2, and then find me the guy who hits on the highest percentage draft picks on day 3. Hire them both.
Or how about this? I mean, here, I agree with that, but how about this? In a year where you aren't going to dance the dance in free agency, don't willingly sit out a very cheap but fruitful undrafted free agent market to save $1. That's what they did. It was stupid as hell. You're spending more money on probably chandeliers inside the stadium than you are going to spend on personnel evaluation in an area where you kick ass. You're the team that found Aziz Al-Shaair. You're the team that found Raheem Mostert. You're the team that found Jeff Wilson. You're the team that found all these guys undrafted. Why would you ever stop spending in an area where you dominate to save such a nominal amount of money? But that's what the Niners did this year. They were 26th in undrafted free agent spending, when they didn't spend it all in the veteran free agent market. They should have been first based on their success in this area. They should have been first in undrafted free agent spending, because it's really not a big pool of money. We're talking about $10 million at most. You know, it's throwaway compared to in the grand scheme of things. And they sat it out for no reason at all, just because Jed's nervous about a few extra bucks. So this kind of poor decision-making by the ownership, you know, it's possible. I mean, Grant talked about this the other day, and he might be right. The Niners may be just, you know, the same bumbling idiots that they've always been post Eddie D, but now they've got Shanahan and Lynch. You know, and those guys are trying to give this team, credibility, but they may not. They may just be the same bumbling team that hired Chip Kelly and thought Jim Tom Sula was great and thought they could do better without Jim Harbaugh. And, you know, I mean, there's a lot of ineptitude there. And, maybe Shanahan and Lynch sheltered us and shielded us from the ineptitude. But now that they've had some bumps in the road, maybe the ownership is grabbing control of the wheel again, and maybe the idiocy is going to continue. So,
wait, and that's the point that Grant is making, and he is the number one Kyle detractor out there, isn't he?
He's made the point that Kyle and John are the positives, and that this is all on Jed.
Oh, now they're good at it. Okay.
And Jed's screwing it up. And I mean, he might be right. When you see the Niners are 26th in undrafted free agent spending in a year where they didn't sign free agents in the regular free agent market, you gotta sit and look at their track record of success in this area. It's absolutely idiotic. I mean, there's just no way around it. It's so dumb. It's saving $1 to, you know, it's the most fruitful market, and you're voluntarily sitting it out to save pennies, to save money that you're going to waste more on your accommodations on the road for preseason games than you are. You know what I mean? It's like, why are you trying to save money here? But they are.
Here's the thing. Can we see Sebastian Valdez tonight? I mean, did you see like last week was unimpressive enough getting to Jacoby Brissett to maybe do something different tonight, right? I would like to see Sebastian Valdez get a shot at this. I really would.
I've been saying that too. PWS says, thought y'all would know SS is Shedeur Sanders,
Right.
LOL. Frank Mello, the 49ers front office needs to start focusing on mid-season extensions to avoid drama, to get a better deal on these contracts.
Yeah, them taking everything to the 11th hour just does not go well for them.
Doesn't seem like, I mean, you might want to switch it up. B.A. Castillo says, outside of Huff, do you have any faith in someone else stepping up in the pass rush?
No.
Maybe a little Kalia Davis inside. That's about it, probably. Those are the guys. So they don't have a lot. They don't have a lot of pass rush. Rez Thug 707.
Larry, can I give? I'm going to give a little bit of love to here to Sam Aquinu. Maybe he's the guy tonight.
Maybe. Larry, does Fred Warner have an outside chance to return to the playoffs? Love the shows. No. There's a reason that I have not addressed any of that Fred Warner is going to return talk, because it's a bunch of crap and it means nothing. And those same idiots were the ones who were saying that Aiyuk was going to be back in week 1. There's no chance in hell that Fred is going to be back this year.
Warner.
I won't address it.
Fred Warner is way too valuable to the future to risk any element of the present on him.
They're not doing it. I mean, it doesn't line up. And Shanahan laughed at that the other day. Ryan Aloy says, for Raiders, it's organizational stability. For the Niners, it's a 6th Super Bowl. For both fan bases, we'll believe it when we see it. We got this one from Rita Thomas. Raiders announced Daryl LaMonica is rolling in his grave. I like that. Thank you, Rita. Ernberg, Larry, will you check out UFC Gym at Sun Valley? I've driven by it a few times. It's next to a Krispy Kreme's drive-through.
Gotta like it when a gym's sitting right there next to a Krispy Kreme, right?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, what makes America America? A Krispy Kreme's drive-through. I mean, that's what makes America America. So so
Krispy Kreme's huge in the Midwest, right? To where they would have like Krispy Kreme's the size of Walmart's. They are just gargantuan. And when they put that hot donut light on, you'd have cars like road raging to the drive-through window because the hot donut light came on. So
wow. Only thing I'll say about the Krispy Kreme donut, it's a very sweet donut. A very sweet donut. Not that all donuts aren't sweet, but they're glazed. It's just, you got to have some milk. Have some milk.
It's a little too airy. I like a little bit more tooth to my donut, Larry.
You like a little bit more cake to your donut.
Yes.
Experience. It's a little too airy.
Give me the cake.
Jesse Josso. Do you think Ron Rivera will quit as GM and take over his head coach of Cal? Over as head coach of Cal. No, I don't. I just talked to Coach Rivera last week, and I think he's really happy in his role. But man, the Wilcox thing. I mean, the chancellor really oddly drew the line in the sand on Wilcox. He's like, if Wilcox doesn't get to 8 wins, he may not be back. And sure enough, they lose this game to Cal. I said it to my wife, Damon. I'm watching that game. I'm like, honey, Wilcox lost his job tonight. He just lost his job.
Look, Wilcox definitely coached himself into a bad situation, but this is also the guy that saw you through your exit out of the Pac-12, your entrance into the ACC, played the ACC pretty well last year. Somebody said, well, he hasn't had an in-conference winning season. Guess what? No coach has had an in-conference winning record in Berkeley since Jeff Tedford was there. So,
and there was another guy there named Aaron Rodgers. I mean, the bottom line is they've recruited JKS. I mean, they got to. I mean, what do you think? JKS is likely to stay now? I would say he's probably likely to leave.
Well, they did. Here's the thing. So they have promoted the guy who really recruited him to be his head coach, interim basis from here on out. Who's the guy? Hot Camp
Rolovich?
Yeah, Rolovich.
Was it Rolovich? I don't know.
He is now the
Nick Rolovich is the interim head coach.
Yes.
Okay. I like Rolovich.
But I'm going to tell you what's going to. First of all, if you're Sagapolatele, don't you call Indiana and say what are you going to spend next year now that Mendoza's going to win a Heisman?
He said he's going to be back.
He did say he was going to be back. So, by the way, so did Mendoza. And so do a lot of young kids say something like that before an SEC or a Big Ten team offers you $8 million a year.
I know. Could be the next quarterback at A&M. 49er fan for life. 49ers not making a trade might be the difference between a Lombardi not getting one. NFL is very mid this year. Plus, Kansas City, our kryptonite, will not be there. Yeah, I mean, all I can say about that is I think people are going to be very surprised at the way the playoffs go. And then I would not be surprised if the 49ers with Brock Purdy win a playoff game. I think they can win on the road in the playoffs. I wouldn't be surprised if the 49ers found a way to win a couple playoff games and get into the conference championship game. It would not surprise me. I think it's all there for them if they want it, which makes the lack of trading a little more dubious. Jesse Jasso said Ron. Yeah,
he asked the Ryan Rivera question.
Yeah, no, we understood. But thank you for the other one. Rita Thomas said Vegas Kaiser Permanente announced a free clinic for Raider players, coaches, and staff to remove the choke marks. Raiders never been the same since the Tuck game. How bad was that game? They just got so screwed.
And
Big Tone.
And the fact that Brady would be the guy that they would bring in, isn't that like further insult? Does that make it easier to be a Raiders fan?
Seriously. Big Tone says Wilcox be inside.
Who is the Niners' single biggest individual enemy ever? Who was it? Who is the guy? Who is the number
Leonard
one?
Marshall.
Okay, what if Leonard Marshall was now making big decisions with the Niners? Would you be happy with that?
No.
The guy who broke Joe Montana's scapula is now making decisions.
I mean, no. By the
way, Leonard Marshall's a good pull. That would be it. Anyone who hurts Joe like that's got to be it.
It's got to be it. It's got to be, or Jim Burt maybe. But Jim Burt played for the Niners. Leonard Marshall, by the way, I wanted to hate him. He came up to me and Ratty at the Super Bowl Radio Row, and the Panthers Denver Super Bowl was here, and he sat down at our table, interviewed him. Guy's like the greatest guy ever, and I'm like, at the end of the interview, I said, "Hey, Leonard, damn you! Why couldn't you just be the biggest jerk of all time? You had to sit down, and we actually now like you. Get out of here!" It was funny. It was a really funny segment. And he's like, yeah, man. He's like, this was too good. This was too comfortable. Gary's like, get out of here. Get out of our table. You hurt Joe. You know, it was classic. People were looking over.
By the way, this is a good point. Richard Sherman maybe was that guy for a minute, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Enemy number one.
Yes.
Again, everybody roots.
What did he say about Crabtree? What you tried Crabtree?
Sorry ass receiver.
No, he said something like, "You tried Crabtree on me," or I forget exactly how he phrased it. Sorry ass Crabtree. And
Aaron Andrews was like, "Oh wow, who are you talking about?" What do you mean?
I hated Richard Sherman, but Leonard Marshall.
Look at it this way, man. Everybody hates Barry Bonds until he's hitting cleanup in your lineup. Then you love the guy. Okay.
That's going to do it for us. Thanks to Habas Law. Thanks to Sleeper. Thanks to Pig in a Pickle. Thanks to Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles. Damon, thank your sponsors, and tell people what you got going the rest of the day. And I'm going to be headed down to Santa Clara for Niners Panthers. I'll be on Cambiar with Silver and Papa coming up at about 11:50, and then it's about a half hour from now, and then I'll be in the car headed to Santa Clara.
By the way, Brett Favre also comes up here as major Niner enemy. Indeed, he was. I've got
Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, I've got to go ahead and deal with a couple. One boy at home from school, so there's that in my horizon here. I've also got a watch party though coming up for you tonight, Monday Night Football. We're going to get going right before the game gets going, and we are going to talk all the way through it and beyond it. And then Larry, I hope you cancel that dentist appointment because I think we're going to have an awful lot to talk about tomorrow morning. So I hope we're back for a wake up. You want to start later? My day's wide open tomorrow, so we can start later. Whatever works for you. If we can make it work,
I'll check it out. I'll text him and I'll talk to him and I'll text you right away.
All right. Let me know. Thanks to everybody for coming on in, watching, hanging out, liking, subscribing, and all those good things. It's great to have you here. And if we don't see you again this week, for whatever reason, to you and your family, have the happiest of Thanksgivings.
Very nice. And Rita Thomas drops, Mark Davis's barber got 30 days for his bowl cut. Peace.